All right, I'm trying to fill this little gap in right here, so I'm gonna do a little video on how to get this. It seems like a complicated shape, I guess, to beginners, and I just want to show you an easy way to just get a little shape in here. I mean, it might be good for if you're working on a car. This is a little thicker. This is 16 gauge, and most car stuff you're doing 18 gauge, so it'll be a little easier with 18 gauge, but I'll just show you a simple way to kind of get this little shape in there and to fill that in. So I'm going to take this, just cut a little square piece out, kind of get it close. And next I'm going to take a radius, like I'm going to figure out the radius, which I kind of know it's like, looks like about a 2-inch radius. So I just have this scrap piece of pipe that's 2 inch. See how it looks pretty close. So all you got to do is just get it close, bring it over to a vise. Put the sheet metal in here with the pipe, kind of just eye it up and kind of get it, try to get it straight as possible. Just make it a little easier on you. I'm gonna try to do it by hand, but then just bend that over, kind of get the, just do a little bit at a time to get that shape. Take it back over to your piece here. Just eye it up, which is, it's pretty close. And then get a marker. Once you kind of get it close, just put it on the inside, overlap it just a little bit, and just make a mark on it. That way you can cut it out and get a little bit closer. You can the best thing would to, you could just use a cutoff wheel or like an air nibbler that I have here. It's right there. So I'm just gonna do this, that way it's just a little faster. But so once you kind of get that piece a little close, just kind of, it looks pretty good right there. And then see, like on the, it's not exact, it's not perfect, but we can put it in the vise and reshape it a little bit. Just do a little bit at a time and kind of flatten that back out just a little bit to kind of get the shape you want. And then once you get it close, see, that's pretty good right there. We could flatten it out just a little bit more. See, once you kind of get it close, you can see it doesn't have to be perfect, because you can kind of shape it down a little bit with a hammer and dolly. But if you can get it like that, kind of leave it a little bit overlap, because then you can clean that up. Once you tack weld that all on, you can clean it up. But we're going to get this, I think it's close enough, and we're going to get it This is for these little antique little fuel pumps I'm designing and making, just for like a bar room or man cave or whatever. But I mean, this will apply too. I mean, if you're doing things with, I mean, working on cars or whatever. But once you kind of get that shape, just hold it on there, overlap it a little bit on the edges. This excess is fine. You can trim that off later, and just eye it up and just kind of go over it with your hands. Make sure it feels flush. Actually, I'm going to take that out. I'm going to get that a little bit better, but I'm going to try to fit that in there just a little bit better. All right, and then what the and you can kind of push that metal up to get it flush. Make sure whenever you spot weld it, kind of keep pressure on, like try to keep it held in place until it cools down. Because if you kind of, if you're trying to manipulate the metal to kind of go where you want it to go, and you let go of it before while it's still hot, you can kind of, it can shift the metal around or kind of break the weld. So I kind of try to keep tension on it until that red goes away, kind of cools down a little bit, so that way it's, you know, perfectly where you want it. And it's pretty flush, because I mean, then you can take your planishing hammer and you can kind of shape this to get it close, so that way you can weld it. See how it's taking shape there? And then you can get this in position and then put a little spot weld on that. And then once you kind of, then put some spot welds around that, and then you can take a cutoff wheel, cut that off, grind it all up, same thing, grind that all off. And then there's a little bit of overlap right here. All you have to do is just, you can put a couple spot welds in there, and then you can just take a cutoff wheel and then just cut that off, and then push it back flush, hold it back flush, and like use your hammer and dolly, kind of get it nice and straight. So that way you want to get this, I mean, best as possible. So that way you're not using a whole lot of body putty if you're doing it on your car. So you kind of want, if you can get it dang near perfect, that's, I mean, obviously you're still probably going to have to use body putty on it. If you want like a perfectly straight car or whatever, you're going to have to use body putty. But the less the better. And especially for like this, I'm not using body putty, so I'm trying to get it as straight as possible. But you can, like I said, we're gonna stop the video and then I'll get this all cleaned up. And I mean, you kind of get the gist of it. You see how I made that shape real quick within a couple minutes, and then I'll get this cleaned up, and then just be careful whenever you spot weld. Just kind of take some air to it, cool it down real fast, so you're not warping your metal. Maybe do like 3 or 4 spot welds, and then go to this side, do 3 or 4 spot welds. Kind of just jump back and forth if you don't want to sit there with air, or you could take a rag with some water and then kind of cool it down real fast. So that way you're not warping the metal. But yeah, that's just a little trick to get this shape. And then you can kind of see how I did this other one here. I already had it done. And then I'm going to clean this up, and then we'll show you what it looks like all cleaned up. All right, thanks. I just finished grinding down the right side of this. Got it all cleaned up pretty good. To show you, just here's the left side. I got it all spot welded, and then I'll clean it up, grind it down, smooth it out so it's just like this right side. But you don't need many tools to do a lot of this stuff. Just a hammer dolly, a cut-off wheel, a welder, and a vise, and some scrap tubing, and you can make some rounded shapes and just improvise to get the job done. And here it is.